Good afternoon. Welcome to your favorite current affairs program, 60 Minutes Nigeria. On today's edition, we'll be taking a look at the expectations of Nigerians ahead of the presidential inauguration next month. So, we'll be looking at setting agenda for President Buhari ahead of inauguration. Also on the program, we'll also be taking a look at the leadership of the 9th National Assembly. We understand that the APC, the ruling party, has made public the choice of leadership of the National Assembly. The Senate, they've made their choice. The House of Representatives, they've made their choice. But is this against the will of the people, the will of the other senators-elect, House of the Representatives-elect? We'll be looking at that. And to join me do the discussion, I have very eminent personalities with me today. I have with me Professor Job Odion. He used to be Dr. Job Odion, but he has just been elevated to the rank of a professor. Congratulations, Professor Job Odion. Yes, nice to have you with us today. Okay, we also have with us a very seasoned politician and public analyst, Comrade Godwin Irahun. Nice to have you with us.
Yeah, blessed.
We have with us a former governorship candidate in the 2016 Edo State governorship election, Bishop Akalame. Nice to have you with us.
Good afternoon, international. Good afternoon, viewers.
We also have with us a highly respected clergyman, and of course a man that has traveled wide, a man who has made his mark, is with us today, Reverend Emmanuel Ojo. Nice to have you.
Good afternoon, viewers.
Okay, so we get set. Nigerians are already expressing their expectations. They want this, they want that from the second term of President Muhammadu Buhari. My guest will also be setting agenda for the president, because INEC has already declared President Muhammadu Buhari as the elected president. He'll be given his certificate of return, and of course he will be inaugurated as president for a second term. We get started with his friend, a man who worked with President Muhammadu Buhari for years, Comrade Godwin Irahun. Now, taking a review of what the president did in his first term, what do you expect of him in his second term?
Well, I think we have to talk about the expectation of Nigerians, what we believe he should do.
Okay.
The most challenging aspect is the area of security. I believe that there is need for the federal government to do more in the area of security.
Okay.
The excesses and the madness of herdsmen should be checked very, very seriously.
Okay.
And with that done, there will be some very high level of peace and all that. We're also aware of what is happening in Zamfara. Until recently, most people didn't know that what was happening there was more economic and not political. That a lot of gold is being mined in Zamfara, and it was the foreign investors who were conniving or dealing with some local champions there to mine the golds without any major benefit to government, either at the state or federal level. And so we believe that for fairness, all areas where golds are mined should also be declared federal government asset, as we have in the oil producing communities in the Niger Delta region. I believe that even gold will give us more money than oil, from what we know of how the value of gold in the global market. I also believe that there will be need for the president to trust the Southerners more this time. Key positions that they are going to appoint, they should ensure that there are enough Southerners to reflect federal character. I believe those are major areas. Then there are other major economic areas In the agric, he has been trying. My appeal to him is that he should not submit to any intimidation on that. There may be blackmail here and there, but let them emphasize the need for our homegrown food and encourage the farmers to at least do well so that they can at least help reduce the level of unemployment in the country.
Yeah.
These are some of the areas, and there are many more, like
yes,
the
in the course of this program, we're looking at.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you very much, Comrade Godwin Irahun.
Thank you.
Let's get the thoughts of Professor Joe Bodio. Looking at the president,
yeah.
You must have been conversant with his antecedents. You must have monitored his government. Now, what are your expectations for the second term?
Well, thank you very much, Gosa. I think I'll just take a cue from what Irahun has said. I think the most important aspect you should focus on is that of security now. It's very, very important. You can see the wave of insecurity that has masked the country shortly after the elections. Of course, we know already the election itself was riddled with a lot of violence and other mishap. So it needs to really sit up. Like we said here repeatedly, it has to rejig its security team.
Okay.
The team. I see no reason why the second term now you cannot change in service chiefs, especially. You need to bring some fresh blood, fresh hands with fresh ideas to see if that they can come out with something that will take care of our security challenges, because it's painful to hear about the humongous number of lives being lost on a daily basis, not hourly basis in this country. And that has been a serious dent on his image as a security man, a retired general.
Are you talking about what some Nigerians have criticized the president of, that his appointments are majorly from the north?
No, I'll come to that as nepotism.
Okay.
That's another aspect of it. That's another aspect of it. I'll also come to it. So thank you for reminding me. But I think the security aspect is even the competence. Even if you put people from the north or from whichever sector of the country, let them be competent first. At least if the people who are all from the north and are doing well, at least we may not even want to focus too much on where they come from, because the person is doing well, but they're not doing well. So you should bring those who are good first. And Kogi has joined the fray now, the security in Kogi, Zamfara, Kaduna, just killing. So it's sad. And you shouldn't allow that to happen. That should be the primary focus. Then, because of that to speed, let me quickly run through. Then let's go to the issue of reintegrating the country. Okay. There's so much disunity and disharmony amongst Nigerians. We must concede. Some mischievously, though. I watched a program, or listened to a program, and this issue of this Zamfara was already being blown out of proportion. That the North keeps their natural endowment, while the South is for everybody. The eggs that lays the golden egg. You see, that kind of rhetoric too will further divide the country. And so he needs to step on the issue quickly, using the agencies of government he has to educate Nigerians too, because if Nigerians are not properly educated, it's bound to cause more division between the South and the North, and cause more restiveness in the Niger Delta, because you'll see that. But they should know that actually the way Nigeria is structured, legal framework, as we call it, speaking as a lawyer now, the laws in this country makes it clear that the oil sector is what federal government controls. The mining sector is still regulated, but there are still room for private investors there. Okay. That's the truth. Okay. You and I can still go and mine gold if we are planning on giving license. Whereas you and I cannot go and refine oil for now, because the laws have not been so enacted. That's why you see the petroleum industry bill and all that trying to deregulate the sector. So it's quite different. But if you don't know that, you just keep assuming that, oh, that this stops an Igbo man from going to mine there if he's able to actualize himself. That's the truth. Okay. So, but what I expect him to do is that now this is happening, not really heard from the relevant agencies. He has not come out. As a leader, he should come out. The elections have been won and lost. We know a section didn't vote for him, but he shouldn't ignore them. He should draw them close, integrate them. They're still Nigerians. We must think as one. There's religious disharmony. He must step on that, because these are the things that fuel insecurity. And one way of doing that is to avoid nepotism. Okay. There should be this idea of winners take it, or not winners in terms of party, in terms of even the northern sector, because people now know that most of the votes came from the north for him as a person. Okay. As if we here don't belong to the government. No. Appointment now should, like you said, should no longer be skewed.
Should be broad-based.
Broad-based, starting from the security up, the service chiefs, Ministers, we know, ministers is constitution. You cannot avoid not appointing him from all the states because that is the constitution. But where he has discretion, that is where the abuse comes in. Because I know if it was not constitutional provider, we would have done the same thing for ministers, but we can't do that. But the service chiefs, the boards, parastators, the key agencies of government, it should spread them. That is what will bring integration. And for integration means you also look at the issue of restructuring. I'm not one who believes in that as a serious problem for Nigeria. Okay. But I think now it should be working towards that, if not in this second term, so that at least sets the template for the next government to work on. Okay. So I think I want to stop here. So
okay. Bishop Akalame, now you'll be talking from the political point of view. Looking at President Buhari, take a review of his government and postulate for a second term.
Thank you very much. Well, I will just hit the nail on the head.
Okay.
Straight to the point. You see, the Constitution is explicit. The basic economic function of the government.
Okay.
So if I'm going to set agenda for Mr. President, I will do that within the economic functions of the government.
Yes.
Number one, you see, Nigerians deserve better life. And I want to urge Mr. President that in the next 4 years, you have to be very deliberate, cautious in the provision of the basic life-sustaining goods to the people of this country. Okay. What do I mean by the basic life-sustaining goods? We talk about good health service. We want to see a situation whereby when you are sick, you don't have money to go to the hospital, the doctor will be so glad to attend to you. We want to see a situation whereby people cannot eat, cannot have access to food. Nigerians are hungry. How about that? Nigerians are what? Are hungry. The only food which every Nigerian has access to is rice. But today, it's no longer reachable. I am not saying that Mr. President have not done well, but if we want to produce rice locally, we must make sure that the domestic production of our rice is on the increase. It's everywhere. Then we cannot ban for the rice. You cannot ban for the rice when the one we are producing locally cannot reach out to everybody. Well, what I expect Mr. President to do is to make sure that this locally made rice is everywhere and is being subsidized so that everybody can afford it. Is it forbidden that you and I will just drive to the filling station and buy for a 30 naira? No. That is why today the people can no longer eat, because where they are bringing those food from the rural area to the urban, the transportation cost, when they now add it to the cost, people can no longer buy. The president have to look into this, have to make sure that they adjust the price of diesel and fuel so that the price of goods can just come down. Then Mr. President has to make sure that he revive and stabilize our economy. Our economy is dwindling by the day. It's not growing. It's growing on paper. It's not reflecting in the style of living of the people. What we hear is that Nigeria has the bogus and the biggest economy in Africa. It's showing on paper. But we cannot talk about growth without talking about development. If the per capita income of the country is growing and it's not reflecting in the development of that country, we are not going anywhere. So, Mr. President has to raise a team. Thinkers, we can call them thinkers. Economic thinkers. What they do for us is to just go inside the narrow, begin to think for this country. Find solution, provide solution to our problems. Is it too hard to do? My brother, I want to set another standard for Mr. President. The standardization of our learning institutions. Our educational standard is dwindling by the day. Nigeria do no longer believe in knowledge, education, because we not have this belief of what? Paper qualification, certification. As a result, we cannot have find solutions to our problem. Jokandi said, you know what he said? He said, the human's mind is our fundamental resource. Those people who understand this philosophy, those countries that understand this philosophy, they've gone far ahead of us. Because when you build the mind of a man, you build the brain of a man, you tap into it and find solution to any problem confronting you as a nation, you move forward. If they did it, you used to see it as a very poor country. But today, they develop the mind of the citizen and the brain. Today, go to Obana, go to Lagos. You see, they are having company, factory, producing water, producing tomatoes, everywhere. We work with them. Why? Because all this is emanate for the brain and the mind. Look at the microphone. This is a product of knowledge. Look at this light. Product of knowledge. Look at the light. Every television. Product of knowledge. What is happening to us that Nigeria government has shifted attention from education? We don't invest in education. Mr. President has to invest massively in our education. Finally, it's our youth. Mr. President to provide job for our teeming youth, to remove them on the street. We can begin to see the multiplier effect. That a man will spend about 6 to 7, 8 years plus strike in high institution. You are now out, no work. Now you begin to think about yourself. Because there are other destinies that are tied to your destinies. Now you cannot help yourself. How can you not help them? What do you need to do here? You begin to see a man begin to think of how to kidnap. You begin to see a young man thinking how to do Yahoo. You begin to see a man who wants to embark on illegal migration. You begin to see a man who wants to go into ritual. These are the multiplier effects. So Mr. President should come aboard and cautiously and deliberately provide job for our youth so that everybody will be happy. These are my just little agenda.
Yeah, there's still a lot. I will accept that you said finally. There's still a lot to talk about. Yeah, because Nigerians are really, they're watching this program. But let's get the thoughts of a clergyman in our midst, Reverend Emmanuel Joe. Of course, he will also reflect the mind of Nigerians in the diaspora. What are your expectations, Mr. President? I know you'll be looking at so many areas. The issue of the Chibok girls, Leah Shaibu is still in captivity. There are so many areas, but what are your expectations?
First of all, I just want to say the first 4 years of President Muhammadu Buhari was a failure, and I don't know how he's going to make it up this second term. Let's call a spade a spade. As a leader, you lead by example. Our president is not transparent. He spent almost half of his 4 years fighting his medical issue. Up till now, Nigeria don't know what was wrong with him, how much was spent. As a leader, you owe your people. We pay for those bills. Nigerians paid for his medical bills, and we don't know how much was spent. That's number one. Number two, job. We're talking about security. Why is there so much insecurity in Nigeria? Because people don't have anything to do, no job, so they try to find jobs for themselves. There's a saying, an idle mind is the devil's workshop. So when a young man's mind is idle, nothing to do, he begins to look for what to do for himself, how to help himself and help his family. Then infrastructure. What have they done so far? I look at our road construction. It's a mess. Oh, they are tying road, just tie road and no demarcation. So you are expecting people to just fly on the road, pick your spot, and drive. Then you come out and say, oh, we've tied road for Nigerians. And the worst of all, they go commission those roads. It's a shame. Those are jobs of private companies or private investors, not the government. It is the responsibility of every government to provide job, security, and infrastructure. Just like a father. You have kids. You provide breakfast, lunch, and dinner for your kids. That is your responsibility. That's your primary responsibility. Do you now go to church to go do Thanksgiving because you are able to provide breakfast, lunch, and dinner for your kids?
No.
No, you don't do that. That is your primary responsibility. So it is a shame for when I see elected officials going to commission borehole, commission road, commission this. It's a shame. Disgrace. So, moving forward, number one, provide security.
Okay.
We're talking about, okay, Northerners are in power. If they can do the job, let them do it. If Southerners can't do the job, they should stay back. Get the right people to do the job. 2, job. No government produce job.
Okay.
You have to empower small business owners. Support them. Small businesses create job, not the government. Okay, how do I bring this company to Edo State? For example, I'm going to give you a tax break for 10 years, but promise me you're going to employ like 5,000 people. Okay. I'll give you a tax break for 10 years. That's how you draw investors. But when you tax those providing jobs, give them heavy taxes, then how do they expect them to survive? Taxes are there, no electricity, no power supply. They buy diesel to fuel whatever business they are doing. So all those are added costs. So it will slow down employment. So moving forward, he should be able to look into these areas. Okay. Nigerians are very, very hardworking people. Nigerians are one of the best people on earth. Very smart people on earth, but we lack good leadership. So I'm going to stop.
Thank you. So you are actually advocating good leadership, believing that the second term of President Muhammadu Buhari will create the enabling environment for businesses to thrive. And what Reverend Joe has also said is that when President Buhari creates the policy framework that enables companies to strive, that will have effect in terms of job creation. Because if the businesses are doing well, then such companies or businesses will be able to employ. So these are some of the areas that he has talked about. But let's, like I said, there's a lot to talk about the second term of President Muhammadu Buhari. We'll come back to Comrade Godwin Irao. Now, the issue of elections are over. So the president definitely is no longer disturbed by issue of continuity, 4+4. He has gotten it now. So, as the president, you recall that in his first term, there was the issue of even the cabinet not being formed on time. Are you looking at that area that before inauguration, he should have his cabinet list, or what area do you think the president should be looking at now?
Well, I'm very sure that this time around there will be no delay in the composition of his cabinet from what I can see internally.
Okay.
I think he is working ahead of that. The areas, I agree with my co-discussants on the area of industries and all that. One other major area without which industries cannot function is power. Now we are still talking of 6-point-something megawatts and all that and so on. I will pray that at least by the time he's leaving, we should be talking about 30 megawatts and above. That every part of this country should be electrified so that the rural communities can be encouraged to set up small-scale industries. It's not when we are talking about industries, we are not just talking of major industries where you have 1,000 or 500 people employed. There are areas where you can have a small industry that can take not even more than 15. If you have 4 or 5 of that in the community, there's a way it will have some spillover, multiplying effect. If you have the workers there, then they are going to draw from the raw materials from our agro sector. Okay. And those who will supply those agro material products will benefit. When those things are also processed, people will also patronize. Transporter will benefit from it. And then the workers themselves will also patronize the local sellers of even provisions and whatever. So the economy will be able to bubble with such. So I believe that the area of transportation is very, very important. Again, while we are talking about the president then we Nigerians must also be ready to make our own contributions, make our sacrifices, stop cutting corners, because this is not, it has endured. All these funny things within government have endured because society too also indirectly encourage it.
Okay. Professor Joe, yes.
About the same thing, right?
Okay.
Thank you very much. You know, like I said, there are so many key issues. You know,
Yes.
Thank goodness my colleagues have gone through it. But moving on the issue of the cabinet per se.
Okay.
Well, like you said, we hope that you come up with this list on time, and like we have always advocated here, the list should come out with a designated title, a particular ministry from the onset. So when they go before the Senate Confirmation Committee, they can be grilled on their competence, experience, and disposition towards that particular ministry. This idea of just sending a blanket name with that title ministries, and then you screen them on what business I don't know. But there's no screen. When the man is being screened, they don't even know what you are screening him for. So I think they should avoid that this time around. Try so, as I believe that some of the ministers will be reappointed. So if you are going to retain this man for Ministry of Power.
But to you, would you advise President Buhari to retain this set of ministers? Those who worked with him in his first term?
It's good to retain a good team. If some of them may have done well.
Have they done well?
Quite a handful have done well. I cannot really mention them now.
Yes.
I may be wrong, but for me, quite a handful. But we know that the power sector, for example, now, or the minister there has to be released of some ministries. That has been something we should say here over and over again.
Fashola, key ministries.
That was the great error, and I think that can be corrected now. Amechi let's bundle those ministries, and let's have more than 2 persons handling them so that they can be focused and efficiency. And then you have one election now, gradually whittle out the politicians in your midst. Bring the technocrats, because you are not going to contest again. You don't need them in quotes for electoral purpose, electoral value, as they say. Now bring the technocrats so that you can build on what you have done and correct the failures that so that is very important. Then the second aspect, like you all said, there is the issue of economy. That's what we talk about technocrats now. The economic team needs to be rejigged in the sense that probably the vice president not being an expert in the economy per se.
Yeah, the vice president is his son, a lawyer.
The chairman is our legal guru. Our leader. He needs to bring in more seasoned persons. Even it means bringing in Nigerians from diaspora. It doesn't matter cross-party line. Don't focus on no. It doesn't matter. Even somebody that has criticized you before, that's in your first term, and you think come and show your worth now. You need to address. So the issue of this economy in terms of how you diversify, how you attract foreign investors. And of course, the security aspect we believe that we taken care of, because that will be the major basis for you to even invite foreign investors. We need to talk about the economy serious, because the economic policies too that will affect whether there will be jobs, the so-called white-collar jobs, because the ministries and relevant agencies will have vacancies to employ, because there's much money in the system. If the custom declares profit every day, and it means that they have enough money, you now look at the possibility of them paying some of their staff. So that means everything should not come to government by way of revenue allocation, and then you cannot claw back to the relevant ministry. You see, it's an issue of economy. So if the ministries and agencies some of them are self-sustaining, quotes, as regards just the issue of recurrent expenditure, then they can employ. You don't have to wait whether it is budget for this, because some of them are actually rich. Some are monies are being tied down. The economy does not try when you tie down money. It's being miserly. That has to be checked. And only experts can tell you can invest in it. That is very important. And then, but most importantly, before I forget, workers are expecting the new minimum wage to be signed. You should put that green biro on that paper, so that when the trickle effect can be felt. No, not signed. It has been passed by the National Assembly, but it's awaiting his assent, as it were. So that is the first thing that he should even do.
So the minimum wage, the president should sign the minimum wage.
The starting point for the economy, starting point for the rejigging of the government itself, so that he can also start working towards focusing on the aftermath, the inflationary trend that will come in. You don't have a strong team to control the inflation that will come in. You also have a problem. So the other is science is so we can absorb the inflationary trend and the other that current. That's the better for everybody.
Thank you.
Very important.
Thank you, Prof. Now, Bishop Akalame, you are not just a politician. You are also an author, an academician as well. Now, there's this belief that square peg in a round hole. has never worked. It has undermined the development of this country. What's your take in terms of advising the president along this line?
Yeah, in the beginning of his tenure,
Yes.
I love Mr. President for one thing, because of his integrity. But over the years, I doubt if that's his stand because of what I have seen so far. Some of our politicians, they now run our government like a business venture. That is why we are not growing.
How do you mean?
I'm coming.
Okay.
That's why we don't move forward. If we don't jettison what is called political compensation, we are not going anywhere. Elections are over. We'll begin to check various wards, various units, who delivered, who worked so hard, who brought him money. So let him take the ministerial position. Let them give him commissioner. Let him do this. That is what have landed us where we are today. We're no longer looking for competency. People who have the intellectual capacity. People who have the brain to deliver. We don't look for them anymore. So you now begin to see that let's just roll the system in a way it will favor us. So as a result, we are seeing people who do not have the interest of the country at heart, but the interest of their political party. Nigeria has become like a well that has water. Once a political party comes with its team, they begin to drain for the well, begin to drain for the well to feed themselves, to help themselves, without pouring more water into it. So Nigeria salt is not growing. So if Mr. President must function very well and deliver to the people of this country, he must look for people who have something to bring to the table. People who can contribute to the growth and development of this country. Not because he belongs to his APC member. He brought us $1 billion to support me in the election, and hence I have to put it there, even when I know that he lacked the capacity to deliver. So, number one, Mr. President has to make sure that you have to make sure that he reconstitutes what his ministers early enough, because he cannot work alone. He needs soldiers to deliver to us. So he has to look for people who have what it takes to deliver with him, to make everybody happy. Then there are some ministers in his cabinet right now who have not done very well. You have to relieve them of their job and replace them immediately, so that we can move forward. And most importantly, this political compensation. Let's look for people now. Nigerians, we have people here who are very intelligent. People who are great thinkers, who are ready to think out of the box at any time, any day. People who have solutions to our problems. We don't look for them. Even their party, we will not give them anything. Once you go and check if he delivers his unit. If he did not deliver his unit, there's no appointment for him. These are the yardstick now. That's why we don't move forward. That's why we don't grow.
But that's the way politics is.
My brother, that's why I said they have been able to put the interest of their party ahead of the interest of the country. Nigeria as a country, if we don't work collectively to see how we can move forward, look at the Nepali country now. Look at Dubai here, small country. Nigeria discover oil at the same time. They have gone far. We are still here. Our politicians, they take our money, they go there to go arrest. What is working there? Why can't we sit down here and do it so I will be sitting down here? It's because we have refused to do the needful. We put the car before the house.
Thank you. Reverend Ojo, do you differ or you have something else to say?
Let me just say this.
Okay.
You know, most of the time I watch talks like this, I just laugh.
Yes.
Nigerians can speak grammar. Big grammar. But the grammar don't hold water. We're telling somebody what he's to do, what he's supposed to do, what we're expecting him to do. The question I'm asking, is he listening? Does he hear us? Is he ruling as the president of a country, or is just on his own? We're talking about getting the right people, compensation, about party politics and everything. It's normal thing. It's normal thing. within APC, PDP, or whatever political parties there, they have good heads that can run the affair of this nation.
Okay.
Get the right people in place. You know, not just getting the right person in place, equip that person. Because you cannot send a soldier out there to war with AK-47 and few bullets. Then anytime he's in need of bullets, he has to call back home for backup. He just send the man there to die. When there is proper equipment and train them to love their nation. One major problem in Nigeria today, you know, Nigerians don't love Nigeria.
Patriotism you talk about. You are talking about patriotism?
You know,
It's not there.
Nigerians don't love Nigeria. Why? If you love your country, you will go at any length to defend your country, to protect your country. And because of that, Mr. Iran said just now that Nigerians have something to do. That is true. Nigerians need to begin to love this nation. Nigeria is a good nation. Nigeria is one of the most blessed nations on the face of this earth. I've traveled to other nations. Yeah. Nigeria is one of the most blessed nations. You don't need fertilizer to plant anything. It will grow. I drove for 300 miles between Texas and Missouri.
Okay.
300 miles, both sides of the road,
yeah.
Farmland. Both sides, 300 miles. And the government still supports those farmers. There was flood the other day. The federal government came in. There was drought. The federal government came in. So what is this government doing to support farmers? It's not just giving somebody 20,000 or 30,000 or 100,000 or how much to go do farm. No, that's not farming. Electricity. Do you know the waste in this country? Just Lagos, the waste in Lagos can power the whole of Lagos. We've brought people into this country to do that. What is the problem? What is my interest in this thing? How much is my interest? So the money they're going to pay for upfront is more than the money that they're going to use to power that service. So the people will back up. So
that's corruption.
That's corruption because Nigerians don't love Nigeria. If you love your country, if you truly love your married man, if you love your wife, you go at any length. If you love your kids, go at any length to do things for them. But until that is stopped, that is not just about me alone, it's about the whole country. Nigeria will be one of the best countries for us to live. It's not just telling Mr. President this is what there's little or much he can do, but what are Nigerians themselves doing? Come back to our states. People politicians they just do things, whatever they want to do, they just do it and get away with it because nobody will ask them. And they tie one road, everybody's clapping. Oh, he's tying. That's nonsense. Tied road. What is that? Do borehole. What is that? That is your responsibility. Look at the healthcare sector in our country. It's a mess. For our politicians to do physical, they have to travel abroad. How much does a machine cost? How much does dialysis machine cost to bring to this country? That you buy first class tickets to travel abroad to do dialysis or do your physical at the end of the year. Why don't we invest, private investment, invest in health, invest in agriculture, invest in roads? Then Nigeria will become a better place for all of us to live.
Thank you, Reverend Ujo. You've really spoken at length. But let's come to Godwin Irahun. During the first term of President Muhammadu Buhari, he acknowledged publicly, it's in the public domain, that he knows Nigerians call him Baba Go Slow. How do you think President Buhari can remove that tag off him in his second term, Godwin around?
Well, you already complete what he said. He said people call him Baba Go Slow. He said, but for him, he has to go slow and steady so that he doesn't overrun his race and all that.
Yes.
So I just believe that first, he's obviously healthier now than he used to be.
Okay.
I'm sure with the renewed health, he would think more sharply, and then he will be able to take more the right steps.
Yeah.
And I also believe that by the time he's able to reorganize his cabinet and then fix people who are ready to work. Because the major problem in Nigerian politics is that people play partisan politics as a conspiracy against society.
How do you mean?
Some of them think of themselves. In everywhere you find cliques or cabal and who are only interested in what they can gain and not what they can do for others and others as well. So, and that has been the major problem.
Okay.
Once we're able to imbibe some high degree of patriotism, this thinking of why must anybody who is a public officer now want to become the richest person in the city? You are not a businessman, you are not, yes. You are there to live a decent life. Not for you now to say, maybe you were in a Roman palace when you assumed power. So you are looking at how you can build many estates, several estates before you leave and all that, at the expense of the people you are elected to serve. Those are the challenges. And Nigerians should stop protecting or glorifying corrupt people. When truly corrupt persons are arrested, ask them whether we are talking about partisan interest or not. That is not the issue. Did you actually steal? Go and defend yourself first. It's not for me to say you arrested me for stealing money. I say I stole more than that. Why didn't you ask me? I should defend myself on what the charges are ahead of me. As much as we are not encouraging partiality in the handling of corrupt cases, but let Nigerians not clap for anybody who had been accused of corruption. Let them defend himself. I'm sure that with all this, certainly it's clear that President Buhari at least will move faster than he did the other time. And he has also acknowledged that he knows that in some areas he was slow, he didn't really do well, but this time around he's assuring Nigerians that he was going to deliver even faster and heavier than he did before.
Okay, so let me quickly just ask a question.
Okay. Yes.
You know, because talking about he's more headier and he's going to move faster these 4 years. I want him to succeed. But if he's the same man that I watched the debate, that is the same president-elect today, Nigeria have a challenge, serious challenge ahead. So I don't know how you will respond to that, sir.
Well, you talk about his debate, but I cannot even remember in 2015 whether he featured in any.
No, the 2018
no, what I'm saying is that if he didn't feature in any in 2015,
he didn't even participate.
The debate when the town hall meeting,
Okay, town hall
him and the vice president.
Okay, I'm talking about the town hall meeting.
The town hall meeting.
Okay, especially for him and the vice president.
The vice president.
Okay.
If it's the same man that is ruling this country, that is the president-elect, then Nigeria have a serious challenge ahead. So, as an APC spokesman, how do you
I'm not a spokesman.
No, it's not a spokesman.
I'm here.
Don't take over my job. Don't take over my job. I do the questioning here. I do the questioning. But I know what you're talking about.
Now.
What Reverend Joe is talking about, you are expressing pessimism.
Over his fastness.
Yes.
Over his fastness.
Over his ability to be fast. But like everyone has said, the president has acknowledged that Nigerians call him Baba Go Slow. And so he's ready to remove that tag. But let's get to Professor Ojo. Yes, that tag is not a good one. And the president has acknowledged, yes, I know Nigerians say I am slow.
And besides, whereas he couldn't appear in any in 2015, in this year, whether he performed well at the forum or not, at least he featured.
Okay, but that's not the issue. The issue now, what should the president do to remove that tag this second term?
Okay, well, I think I want to navigate to what I thought ought to be the second topic now.
Okay.
No,
we'll come to that.
Let's
just quickly
I'm going to tie it to what your
yes.
question actually. I think it's a key for me to bring that. The president needs the support of the other arms of government, really, for his speed to increase, if any. You see, the Baba goes.
So are you saying that National Assembly impeded it?
Of course, definitely, of course.
You should have done better even for the National Assembly?
Definitely, that's in doubt. You see, the trouble is that, you see, when you have a man of his age now and his capacity, he needs to be rejigged by the supporting arms of government. Even starting from his ministers.
Yes.
If he was slow, all of the ministers, how did they push him? If you have a father who is slow, there's a way you can push him to achieve success.
Okay.
We have heads of parastatals, boards who are not as fast or sort of astute as their subordinates,
yes.
but there's somebody behind him.
Okay.
So to what extent has this person's
performed?
And so that also translates to the National Assembly. Okay. There are so many issues that could have been trashed out. I think the National Assembly was more cooperative, more friendly, and more convivial, but it wasn't there. It was politics, like I said, self-interest came in. Persons who were there hijacked that place for their self-interest, and so you had these parallel walls, parallel lines between the executive and the legislature.
Okay.
And so there were some laws that could have been passed. There's some bills that could have been passed. Let's take the budget, for example. Yes, we agree the issue of budget not being not presented on time. It has been an endemic problem in the country. It's not tabled on time. Because of course the behind the scene things that happen right from the committees and right from the parastatals and the ministries. When it's laid before the House, do they treat it expeditiously? They don't.
That's $1 million question.
They sit on it, okay. And they see the budget being passed in July. So if the budget is passed in July or June,
yes.
How will you implement?
The year is ended.
How will you implement?
Okay.
So this will also translate to the sluggishness.
So Professor Ojon, I think you're right. You're leading us straight to the next topic now. We'll have to quickly try that. We'll start with Reverend Ojo. Yes, the National Assembly, you have been following our politics. The National Assembly, the party, the ruling party, has adopted Senator Ahmed Lawan to be their choice for the position of Senate President, because Bukola Saraki is not coming back. And we have other contenders. We understand that Alin Dume, from what we've heard, is not willing to throw in the towel. He wants to be Senate President too. Now, do you think the party should choose, or we should allow the senators choose their Senate President, and for the House of Representatives, we should allow them to choose their Speaker and not the party? What's your thoughts?
The ruling party is in majority right now.
Okay.
The party in general should not choose who to lead the arm of government.
Okay.
Let them choose for themselves. Let the senators choose who would be their leader.
Yeah, the Senate President.
Because when like my brother said here, when you begin to take the interest of the party more than the interest of the nation, there is a problem. So that is what I would suggest, that they should let the members of House of Rep choose who is going to lead them.
Okay.
Don't impose anybody on them. Let the Senate choose who's going to be their Senate President, and don't impose anybody on them.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's get it up with politician now. Call politician. You are following what is happening. The Ninth Assembly is in focus here. Bukola Saraki is not coming back. Just like Professor Dion said, some people believe that Bukola Saraki was antagonistic of President Buhari. That's the thought of some people. Now, the coast is clear. Should the party choose, or the senators choose for themselves, or the House of Representatives choose for themselves?
So, National.
Yes.
The APC as a party is going to make a similar mistake that they made in 2015.
Okay.
Why did I say so? You see, the senators are not babies. These are former governors in their respective states. You don't tell them who to be their leader. You don't choose a leader for them. You don't tell them who should lead them. They are matured enough.
Yeah.
So if you feel that you want to become a Senate president, there must be a session where all the aspirants will come. Tell your colleagues what you are going to do, what they elect you as a Senate president. This has nothing to do with Mr. President. It has nothing to do with the chairman of APC. It has nothing to do with any one of us here. They know themselves. If Udume feel that he can deliver, they give his colleagues his manifestos. If they feel that it's good enough, they've given his vote. If Ahmed Lawan is Ahmed Lawan, the other man. So if they feel that this man is okay, they should vote for him. But as far as I'm concerned, I don't even want Ahmed Lawan to become a Senate president. Because why I don't want to, you can look at his antecedent. When that kind of man becomes a Senate president, that means the registration will be emasculated. That means that arm of government will just vanish. Will be operating in abstracts. It will not be really in existence. The independence of that arm of government will not just be there. Okay?
So you like the Saraki style?
It's not Saraki. See, there's something that people don't understand about the 8th Assembly. You see, that was the real National Assembly. What is the primary responsibility, the primary function of the registration? Is to check on to check on the excesses of the executive arm of the government. Okay. That is what the Saraki leadership did. You cannot just begin to take decision and you say, okay, Mr. President, go on. Yes, it's not done. That is the duty of democracy. Yes. We have the 3 arms of government. We have the executive, the registration, and the judiciary. But in Nigeria today, the executive have been able to pocket the judiciary, and what they want to pocket the registration. So in the time of the Saraki, they could not do that. That was the lift. Though you have to come with checks and balances, not unnecessary lifts. But what I want to say here is this: the APC, they don't have business imposing candidates on these big men. Okay. They should give them anybody that want to become a leader should give them level playing what. Thank you,
Bishop Akalame. Thank you. Well, now we just get the thought of Comrade Around because the director has notified us. Time is not always our friend on the show. Yes. Should the APC do that, or should he?
On this, I want to differ very sharply from my co-discussants.
Yes.
For every political setting, every party has its own manifesto. They have which spells out his philosophy, his own program, and therefore it is the duty of the party first to zone key offices. Okay. In the National Assembly, you have several principal offices. It is the duty of the party to zone. It is also the duty of the party to moderate the choice, to now look at who is best fitted to handle it among them. It's very, very important. And then,
so what you are saying that what the party is doing now is in order?
Correct. Okay. But it should not be dictatorial. Bring all of them together. The idea of saying if you will not accept Udume or Bajabi Amila for the position, you should quit the party. That one is rude. Is annoying. Okay. So bring them together and agree this is where we have gone to. At the end of the day, you also will be able to lobby those who are loyal. It's done everywhere in the world.
Thank you, Comrade Irahon. Professor, do a quick one on this.
I want to align myself with him on this issue. You know, politicking is all embracing. The party has a stake in governance, and they also determine the character of the person who heads that all-important arm of government. In the U.S., Nancy Pelosi has been there for quite a major as in the House of Reps. When the Democrats were in the minority up to recently, she was a minority leader. And once they got the majority back, they became a Speaker of the House of Rep. Even when some persons were adjusting for it, because they believe in her. Because that's the Democrats, they believe in her. So if Ahmed Lawan was leader of the Senate, and was supposed to be Senate president in 2015, and lost out to the intrigues of Khan and his friends, and then now he became Senate leader, and now they are back. And the party says, this man, we trust him, he has a pedigree, he has experience, he should be Senate president. And there are all manner of people are shouting here and there. That is not how it's done. The party must moderate, like I said, and the party must also bring to the but it should be done in. Okay,
thank you, Professor Dion. Thank you, Reverend Ojo. Wonderful comments from you. Thank you, Bishop Akalame, and of course, Godwin Irahon. Thank you very much for your contribution on the show.
Thank you.
And our viewer out there, this program is being viewed in the US, in London, in the UK, in different countries around the world. Our viewer out there, if you have enjoyed the program, keep a date with me. By God's grace, next week, Thursday, we'll be here again to extray, to dissect all the national issues. My name is Ego Sagbanao. I hope you've enjoyed the program. Do have a wonderful week ahead.
Bye-bye.